Hi everyone, and welcome back to my Paint and Sip. Grab your canvas and your first drink at the bar, as well as your paint supplies. So today we will be painting a Noli grass hill kind of scene with a deep purple sky. I'm starting off with a splotch of green and a little dot of black, and you're probably going to need more green than anything else, so I'm going to show you adding more green later. Feel free to make 2 or 3 little puddles of green. That is a little bit of navy blue for depth. Purple is the main color of our sky. Yellow is for highlights and making a cream color. Red is for little baby mushrooms. Pink I did not really use. I could have used a tiny dot, or you're welcome to not put any at all. White is for mixing and highlights. Like I said, give yourself a little extra green, even more than I did here. Starting with my larger brush, I am going to go right in on my hills. This is a darker green color that I mixed using green and a little bit of black, so these are kind of like the hills in the back. Start adding your second little background hill. It's very organic. Make them whatever shape you want. This is like the background. I'm going to add another hill here, closer to the front. I'm using light strokes to lay down my color, and I'm not spending too much time on the edges of the painting, but you are welcome to. Putting a touch of white into my dark green color. This is going to show some hills that are closer to the camera or the viewer. And then here I add a tiny touch of navy This is to add some interest and a little bit of depth, and I'm filling in a little hill here. Fill in your hills however you like, but I'm going to show you how I did it. I think it looks like a little bit of a valley between the hills here. I'm also going to add a little interesting hill at the top. And then adding more white into the color, I'm ready to work on my main hill in the front. So this is going to be my main interesting little hill. I'm just using soft sweeping motions. Going back in and touching everything up. Playing with the shades of green. I have a fresh washed brush now, and I'm going to start to go into the sky with the purple. This is purple with a tiny bit of navy blue. I'm going to mix these together on my palette with a little bit of white as well. Y'all may know already that I love lavender. So I could have started with this, but I didn't think about it. So I'm going to start filling in the sky. This is the lightest part. I think it should be closest to the hills at the bottom. I'm gently working the color up. Now going back to my palette, grabbing more purple and a little bit of navy blue, I'm going to make this color darker. This is the same purple puddle that we had from before. You can put this right above the light lavender and then work it together. I'm going to try adding a little bit of water to make this even smoother. Be careful though, it can get drippy. Going in with the deepest shade of purple, more navy blue. I'm going to start from the top of the portrait and work down, blending all of my purple colors together. Take your time and see where the purple takes you. I want to add some interesting highlights to the hills, so with a green brush, I'm going to go into my new green puddle with some white and some yellow. You also see me grab just the tiniest bit of navy blue. That's because I don't want it to be too bright, so the blue makes it a little more dusky. I'm showing you here my cute puke green color. I love it. I'm just going to go on top of each of my grassy knolls as my imagination sees it, where maybe the moonlight would be hitting the top of the hills. You can kind of spread it out. As your brush gets drier, it'll be easier to blend it more without depositing more color. Grabbing a little bit of black, I'm going back into that same color and making it a dark color for shadows. It comes out a cool brown looking color, which is great. I'm putting the shadows where the hills touch and below the highlight. The shadows should go in the lowest part of the scene. I'm also just kind of playing with this and seeing what I like and building colors. There's some more fresh green. I'm trying to match the original color now, and I'm going to go do some touch-ups and building. I'm really just smoothing out all the colors. Now that the sky has had a little bit of time to dry, let's go back into the purple and start to blend and bring it together. So now I'm going to bring you closer and we're going to do something fun. Going into the red, I'm going to start to make some cute little mushrooms. I'm doing this by just making a curved line and filling in below it. I'm making them pretty small. These are the mushrooms that are closest to you. These are my main mushrooms. I'm also going to add some tiny mushrooms in the background. I think that they should be towards the top of the hills. So, some tiny little dots. You can also make it look more organic by making the curves smaller or larger on top of the mushroom. Now going in with some red and a little bit of yellow, I'm going to make a deep orange color. And I'm going to put that deep orange color at the top of the mushrooms to give them more shape as a highlight. I also like the orange color a little bit more than the red, so I'm going to go and touch up the mushrooms in the back as well. Now to make it darker, I'm going to go into a tiny bit of navy blue and a little more red. I don't want it to be too purple, so I'm going to add mostly red but a tiny bit of blue. And this is going to go on the bottom of your mushroom caps to add depth. I'm showing you here that I'm rolling the brush to get the paint off and deposit it onto the palette and get the paint just on the tip of the brush. So I'm going in, adding more little mushrooms, more character. This is your little grassy, hilly wonderland, so make as many mushrooms as you like. So this part is very scary. We're going to make a cream color with some yellow and white, and the teeniest, tiniest bit of blue, and maybe even some red, to make a light creamy color. Take your time playing with the color. This is actually very fun, seeing how the color transforms as you add different colors. I'm just looking to find a cream color. Once I have my color, I'm going to make sure that the brush is pointy and pretty much dry. With just the tip of the brush, I'm going to start to make some teeny tiny dots. I'm going to get some off on the back of my hand first. I'm going to put the dots just on the mushrooms at the front, and if my dots are too big, I'm going to add a little bit of red-orange back. Going back into the cream color, I'm going to make some little stalks on the mushrooms. This is just a little teeny tiny line, and I'm only putting these extra details on the mushrooms at the front, which are closest to me. I also think that the little skirts on mushrooms are so cute, so I'm going to go in and add some little skirts on these mushrooms. This reminds me of an Art Deco painting that I saw of little mushroom children running around. I thought that there should be some shadows here, so I'm going in with the dark green color and adding some interesting shadows. When it's not exactly the shape that I like, I go with my finger and blend a little bit more. Shadows, shadows, shadows. Blend, blend, blend. So now I'm going to go into the night sky and add some clouds. I'm doing this with the fan brush, which is nice and dry, with a lavender color, which is mostly white and a little bit of purple. And I'm just using sweeping motions back and forth. To create a nice textured sky. I also added a little bit of pink, but I think it looks nicer with just the purple. Good clouds are full of layers. I'm going in with some more lavender here over, really bringing everything together. And you know that I can't resist a moon, so I'm gonna make a lavender gray white color here and put a teeny tiny moon in the corner. Looks magical to me, but I think it could use some more clouds. So I'm using the cream color from before and the lavender purple color that I also have, along with a little bit of water to loosen it up. So that I can add some more teeny tiny clouds and details. This is what my finished painting looks like with my cute little baby mushrooms and my moonlit night sky. I hope you enjoyed painting with me today. Thank you for following along.